certain people are going to absorb information in a certain way.
Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
Good morning and happy Friday. How you guys doing? I don't know about you, but this week has been an awesome freaking week for me. I have gotten so much done. Like every single day that I have had my number one priority, I have gotten it done. So I'm super thrilled. I'm pumped for today too, because I'm going to talk to you about something that I'm super, super passionate about, which is content. Okay. Who's surprised that I love content? No one? Okay, good. Okay. So, but more importantly, I want to talk to you about how to create content. Like it's kind of the science be creating content that actually speaks to your actual client avatar. And I'm not talking about your niche. I'm not talking about your like specific client avatar, but I'm talking about like their disc. How many of you understand how many of you know who your client avatar is? I hope everyone's hands goes up. Okay. Well, that's a totally different conversation. So not a lot. So those of you that do know who your client avatar is, do you know what profile what their disc profile is? No. Okay. So I'm going to encourage you to start doing a little bit of study on that, because the reality is that certain people are going to absorb information in a certain way. For example, I am a high D. If you come to me and you start speaking like this, and you take a very long time to get your sentence out, I'm going to be really annoyed. Okay. If you are a high S and you hear me talking really fast and I keep going like this all the time, I'm also going to probably turn you off a little bit. So you need to know when you're communicating with your client avatar online with that parasocial relationship, right? Because this is what it is. When you don't know me, if you don't know me in person, you never met me in person, and you like me, it's because you have a parasocial relationship with me. It's all parasocial, okay? And when you're speaking to people through a parasocial lens, you have to be able to tell them that they can trust you. And part of the way they know that they can trust you is because you understand who they are. That's why you can't talk to a million people at once. That's why you can't have a general client avatar. That's why specialists make more money than generalists. Okay? It's because they understand what their audience wants, what their audience sees, what their audience speaks, how their audience hears, how they absorb information. Are we all following me? Okay, you all have, okay, good. Okay. So Amy puts in here, mine are upsizers and busy professionals, most likely high Ds. I would totally agree with that, Amy. Janice says female 35 to 54. That could be a whole lot of different things. Typically, your downsizers are going to be higher on the S than they are on the D. Typically, your upsizers are going to be higher on the D than they are on the S, right? So you kind of want to think about that. So when you're talking to them, you want to have content that's actually going to speak to them, not only online, not only on social media, but also in the way that you communicate, your body language, your hand gestures, your inflections. But your emails need to speak to them the right way. When you come off like, I'm a person like, you need to do this. Okay. That's how I speak. But if you don't know me and you hear me say in an email, you need to do this, and you'll be like, you're such a bossy little person. I don't want to talk to you. Right. Even though I don't mean it to be bossy, that's just how I speak. So if you want to target a larger group of people or if you want to target your audience through your emails, you want to make sure that it's not a larger group of people. You want to make sure that you're very clear. Like if you're going to ask a lot of questions, like the more questions you ask to people, the more likely you're going to be able to hear what they are. Okay. Kara says, I have a little of everything. Knowing the disc, you can adapt to them for a time. Yeah, everyone has a little bit of everything, just so you know. Okay. Like I'll actually pull up my disc. You guys can take a look at it here. I was going to have this ready for you before, but you're all a little bit of everything. No one is one. No one is AD. Okay, you're not AD. And also, everyone has an adaptive style versus a natural style, really depending on where you're at in your life and your career and things. Your profile is going to kind of switch. Your adaptive style is going to take over versus your natural style. So it depends on the situation you're in. There's so many different things. But in general, you can expect that people who are in a certain place in their life, like Amy's point, upsizers, okay, they are likely in that point where they have to make a fast decision. B's make fast decisions. These want bullet points. They want to be bam, 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 bam. They don't want a long paragraph and a long novel to explain what you're going to do for them. Okay. So you got to kind of think about like where they are. So let me do this real quick. Before I even go into this, I will show you my disc here so you guys can see it. I know you all say, oh, you're a D. Yeah, it's true. I am definitely a high D. I also have some I. What page is this on here? 1 second. I like this little color chart they've got here. Okay, so this is what you see if you look at mine here. So my disc, I'm very high D, obviously, very low S. Okay, like I'm very restless. I'm very active. Okay, I'm not relaxed. I'm not a passive person. I'm very unpredictable. Okay. Like, yes, I have C. I have a high C in me because I am a team leader and a business owner. You have to have some compliance in you. But the reality is that I would rather just get to the process versus have to develop the process. I just want it to be done, if that makes sense. So you should really understand your disc profile to an extent like this, because it's going to make a big difference. The more you understand about yourself and the more you understand how you communicate, the more you understand your target client, the easier it's going to be to actually talk to them through written communication. Okay, so all of that being said, you want to know over here. Okay, how many of you know what your personal disc profile is? Brittany just asked where you take one. You can take a free one at TonyRobbins.com. TonyRobbinsDisc.com is a good one to take for free. I would probably pay to get. I don't like the free stuff. I'm never a freebie person. I'm always like, let me pay and get the whole thing. This is how I am, because I like to know as much as possible. Sam, the previous slide is my personal disc. So I won't give you that one, but I'll show you, I'll be able to share these slides, and I'm going to share with you here in just a minute. Okay, so let's go into this and I'm going to do a quick overview of the disc if you need to know some of this, okay? So the basic, this is a high level overview, okay? So your Ds are those people who are direct, very results oriented. They're very firm, strong-willed, and forceful. Okay? I laughed because I'm like, okay, that's me. Yes, that's totally me. That is totally me. Okay. Your Is, these are going to people that are this stands for influence. These are your outgoing, enthusiastic, optimistic, high-spirited, lively. These people are your people pleasers. Okay. Carol's like me. Okay. Who's our Is? Who do we have here that are Is? High Is. I am a DI. Isabel's an I. Okay. Asima's an I. Okay. Debbie's a double-handed I, a fist-pumping I. Okay, so there's a lot of Is, right? And you're going to see in real estate, you see DI is a pretty common trait in a lot of real estate agents. A lot of people that you see up here, people like me, are like, okay, come look at me, look at me, look at me. It's not going to be surprising to know that a lot of us are DIs. Then you got the people who kind of sit in the back and like to ask a lot of questions and observe, and they come up and they speak, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're here. And those are probably going to be your SCs. Okay. So your S's are those people who are more even-tempered, very patient, very humble, which is why I said they're going to sit in the background and think, and then they're going to speak, and then they might shy away from recognition. They might shy away from compliments, right? Those are going to be your S's. These are going to be the people that take a little bit longer to make a decision. So that's why I say your downsizers are likely high S's, especially if they've lived in their home for 25, 30 years. And they grew a family there. I mean, there's a lot of reason why, they've been very steady, very stable in that home. So it's a very high S. Okay. And the D's of speaking to the S's, the D's need to slow the heck down. Especially if you, real estate agent, are the D and your client is the S. You need to slow down. It actually surprises a lot of people when I tell them that I do really well with the 55 and up crowd. That is really a big part of my business is 55 and up, because I'm really good at understanding the disc, and I'm really good at understanding like what communication styles need to be, how I need to adapt my communication style depending on the situation. So I really actually enjoy working with high S's because it allows me to be in my genius zone. Because my genius zone is I am a result. I'm all about results. All I want is the result. So this high S who's a little concerned or a little more, not as like risk taking, that's going to be the person who's really going to appreciate my results. So you got to really understand that piece. Your C's are your people. These are your really good admins. How many of you have an amazing admin? Okay. My admin is amazing. Okay. Without her, my brain would be in like a million different directions. You believe me, it is not in a million different directions today. Debbie's like me. I know Wendy's got a great admin. Okay. You guys, your admins need to be a C. I'm just going to tell you right now, because those are the people who are going to make sure that you don't get sued. Like your admins, Amy's a C, right? Amy's an IC is what it looks like. Is that what I'm saying?
That's my admin.
That's your what?
That's my admins.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I love it.
I need her.
Debbie, what are you?
I am like phenomenally an IC, like hardcore, which I can totally relate to, because I am definitely a support person, and admin and clerical is not only like my jam, but it's my spiritual gift too.
Yeah. See? So you guys, you need a good admin. You need to make sure they're a high C. Okay, my admin is definitely a high C. She's also an I. She's an IC. So like you need to understand that. Okay, so let's go into this again real quick here. I think there's a lot of people on this call. This is a hot topic. I love it. Okay, so we're gonna move on, and I want you to understand. Here's your disc in The Office. How many of you love The Office? Right? Okay, it's a good show. How many of you help? I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch it religiously, but Milu found this yesterday. It's like, oh, that's a perfect little picture. So, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't know these characters' names. Okay, I just know their actor names. Okay, so anyway, here's your disc in The Office. Okay, your D's are the ones where they're assertive. They hate losing. I had a leader one time ask me what do I resonate with more? I love to win or I hate to lose. I was like, ooh, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one for me. But your D's really hate losing. Your I's are your very high energy. They want the recognition. They're really, really good storytellers. You're people pleasers. They want everyone to just get along. Okay. Your S's are the super patient, supportive, non-confrontational. And your C's are the rule followers and the enforcers. So now that we understand this, think about this. Your D's, if you're working with busy professionals, executives, like your CEOs, they're likely a pretty high D, right? They're in positions of leadership that require them to make decisions fast. And that's likely how they operate in their life. Okay. Your people who are really good salespeople are usually high I's, really good like salespeople. Okay. Really good salespeople are high I's. Okay. So now, how do you actually talk to these people online? I'm going to give you 4 slides and I'm going to show you. Okay. So the first thing you want to understand is that your D's, these are the people, they want data. All they want is the solution. Okay. That's all they want. They just want you to get right to it. What is the end result? So if you're speaking to someone online and you're like, okay, if you sell your house with me, I'm going to get you, blah, 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 blah. That's probably your D. Right? But if you're telling a long story, it's going to be a little bit different. But your D's, they want infographics, they want bullet points, they want facts, they want data. They want you to be clear and concise in what you're saying, and they want you to get to the point. So think about that. when you're writing an email. Think about that when you're creating a piece of content. Who are you speaking to? Who is your client avatar? My client avatar is a high D. My number one. My second client is a 55 and up. Okay, I have two. My target client is a busy professional, corporate professional, high D. Like they don't want to deal with anything. They just want the result. They don't care how it's handled. They don't care about all the little mini details. They just want the result. What is the end result? What am I going to get from you? Okay. So think about that when you're writing content for them. So like I said, infographics, to-do lists, they do really well with case studies. Like rather than client 5-star client review, your Ds probably don't care about a 5-star client review. They probably care more about a case study. So think about the verbiage on that, the word play. What is the case study versus a 5-star client review? They also want you to be an authority figure. With your high Ds, if they're coming to you for help, it's because they trust you as an authority. So you have to speak as an authority. Okay, so we're on to the Is. So you want to have content, obviously, that resonates with people who are very influential people. So storytelling, because high Is are usually very good storytellers, right? So if you can master the art of storytelling, if you have not watched my storytelling training, you need to go back and find it. I think it's all in the Facebook group. Milu can just double check that for me. But storytelling is imperative for your high Is. You should learn to be a really good storyteller. Even if you are not an I, and even if your client avatar is not an I, you should learn to adopt the skill of learning how to tell a story. Because if you learn how to tell a story, you understand the whole framework of a story, you're going to be able to adapt that to the communication style. So an example of content for your high Is are the inspirational quotes. Okay. We all love the inspirational quotes, except for when you don't. Like I personally, being a DI, okay, being a higher D than I am an I, the inspirational quotes, sometimes I'm like, okay, but what did that actually do for me? Right. But your high Is are going to be the people who are like, oh my God, that touched me right here. It's exactly what I needed. Okay. I feel those smiles because you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay. Your high Is are going to be the people who are like, they're going to like the humor. So if you're a very funny person or your client likes humor, okay, use humor. Your Ds, not so much. Okay. Actually, I was talking to my team yesterday about some content, and they're like, okay, what about entertaining content? Or it was Angel. We were talking on my workshop. She was like, what about the entertainment content? And I'm like, girl, I am not funny. Like, and I think people sometimes would disagree with me, but like, I don't look at humor the same way as like a high I person would. Okay. So you got to really play on emotions, because Is want to know that you feel them. They want to know that you're right here connected to them in their heart. Okay. So when you have the client if your client avatar is in the high I, or they have those I characteristics, make sure that you're touching them right here. Behind the scenes videos work really well with Is. Collaborations with influencers also work really well with Is. Your Is are probably the people who are going to watch the content on TikTok and Instagram that, really okay, because I'm like watching content like a mad woman right now because I'm learning so much. Have you all heard of Hunter Prosper? Okay, if you haven't, you should go watch him and let me know if you like him or not. Okay, he's a very high I content. Okay, not for me, but I'm very high. So if you're a very high I, you might like his content, because he touches you right here. He's just like, he's a storyteller. He's like, helps you with the visual it's very emotional, right? And that's your Is. Your Is want to know that you're going to be on the emotional roller coaster with them. Okay. Moving on. Your S's. Okay. Who's an S? Who here do we have an S? Raise your hand. Let me see you. People don't know. Linda's raising her hand. I love it. Okay. Julie's raising her hand. All right. So there's a few S's on here. Okay, S's. Jump on in if I'm wrong here. Your S's, because they are very patient, because they take a little bit longer to make a decision, I shouldn't say longer, they're more thoughtful in their decision making than like someone like me who's like, okay, just do it. And let's see if it's wrong, we'll just do it again, right? So they're a little bit more thoughtful in their decision making. They're very into the details, super detail oriented, okay? Therefore, your content, when you're speaking to them, step by step works really well. Step by step instructions. How to do this. 5 simple steps to do this. 5 simple steps to buying a home. Step by step. Okay. They work really well with testimonials. So client testimonials, if you're going to have clients actually speak your story for you versus you just sharing a picture of you closing with a client and telling the client's story. If you can actually have that client tell the story, you're more likely to connect with this audience. Things that they like some examples are like FAQs, guides, your guide to buying a home. Like I have my dream method guide, okay, that's going to speak really highly to an S. It's a guide versus like a checklist. Your checklist is like your how to buy a home checklist. Like that's for your D's. How to buy a home guide. That's for your S's. So like little tiny things like plays on words can make a big difference in how it's perceived by your audience. So just little like I said, guide versus checklist. And C's. Who's our C's? Who are our C's here? Debbie, we know Debbie's a C. That's it. Debbie's our only C on here. Okay. Well, I am also partly C sometimes. Oh, Anna Maria is raising her hand. I'm partly C. So here's what I can tell you. Linda's also raising her hand. Okay, your C's are very analytical. You guys, my husband is a C through and through. I don't care. I swear, like if I did his full disc, I bet he has nothing else. He's like got to be the anomaly. He's literally the exception to the rule if you have everything, because he is definitely he is high C. Okay, high C. He's a data analyst by trade. So those are your high C's. They're likely data analysts. They're probably engineers. They're probably your program managers. They're also probably highly in the tech industry. Okay. So your high C's are people that want you to want to understand that you care about quality. They want you to, they expect you to come with data. So how many of you have ever worked with an engineer? Okay. Can you see what your engineers are high C's? You have to have data. You have to. So don't go to a listing appointment when you know that someone's an engineer. Like we have a lot of Boeing engineers around here, and I will never go to an engineer or go to a listing appointment with a Boeing engineer and not know my data inside and out. Because they that's their number one thing to them. If you don't know data, if you don't know your market stats, you aren't specific about your market stats, what exactly are they going to get if they pay you X percent? Okay. If they pay you X percent and their house sells for less, they want to know exactly why they're still paying you X percent. So you have to be very, very, very clear in your presentation to your C's. Because you'll lose a listing if you don't. I'm telling you, this is one thing. I'm going to give you one trick right here. If you want more listings and you have a lot of engineers, especially if you're in the Seattle market, we have a lot of engineers out here. Okay. Know your data. That's the one thing you could do more than anything. Know your data. Okay. Is this helpful? Are you guys finding this to be a little helpful? Good. There's a lot of messages here. I have one more slide that I want to go through, but I want to make sure I'm getting all these questions. Deborah says, yeah, often I find husband and wife have different styles. Yep. Good partnerships usually have more than one style. Like I said, my husband's a very high C, thank goodness. Okay. Because I'm the risk taker. I'm the, let's just do it. And he's like, wait. Right. Thankful to him, because I would probably just sit here and just spend all of my money. Okay. Thankful to him that I don't. Okay. So it's really good to have those partnerships. It's also really good to know what each person is. So some ways that you can tell, questions you can ask her, what do you do for a living? It's a really high indicator. Really high indicator. Because like I just told you, an engineer is going to probably be higher on the C. No, this is general, okay? So every person is their own individual person, and you can't really go out and ask your clients to take a disc, okay? That's kind of weird. I mean, if you can figure it out. I want to talk to you, but I don't know how to do that. So very general. But if you ask your client what they do and they say, I'm an engineer, okay, you're probably a high C. You ask your client what they do, I'm a director, I'm a manager, I'm a leader, I'm a whatever. They're probably higher on the D. Someone who's at HR, probably going to be on the I and the S, or the I and the C, your HR people. Your S's, like I said, those are going to be a lot of your downsizers. Those are going to be people who have been in their jobs for a really long time. People who've been in their job, like they've worked at one place their whole life. They likely have a lot of high S tendencies or a lot of high S traits. So understanding those things about your clients is really going to help you understand what you should be doing and saying. And then if you actually do a client avatar work and you go back and you look at your top clients, you find the people you want to work with, you identify who they are. They've all got similar traits, and then you can identify what those traits are. Okay, so let's see here. I have low I, SI. Last time I think SD. Oh, look at all these C. Okay. Linda says, I'm an SC, which is why I'm not as successful as you and the other agents. I would beg to differ that you're not as successful. It's successful in a different way. You probably measure success in a very different way than I do. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to go on a little tangent about success here for a minute. So in this industry, I feel like what we like to celebrate is, I've done 150 homes. I sell X amount of volume, blah, 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 blah. Okay. I did this much GCI. Is that true? That's what we celebrate, right? That's how you win. You produce that, you sell the most amount of homes. You sell the most amount of volume. Do we celebrate sales or dollars per hour? Like Alex Mayer has a really high dollars per hour. I guarantee it. That guy takes like 4 months a year off. He works 3 hours a day, something like that. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but he has a really high dollars per hour. Okay. I can produce a lot of volume, but in 2021, if you know my story, in 2021, I grossed over $500,000. I took a negative $30,000 profit that year. Okay. Is that cool? No, it's not. So you got to think about, when we're talking about success, define what that means for you. Okay. For me, success is how much money I'm keeping. Success is how much money do I keep in my pocket? How happy do I make the people around me? How much can I inspire people? How much can I impact people? How much can I help change people's lives? That's how I measure success. So when you're talking about that, don't compare yourself to the high volume, high producers if that's not what you want. Because there's literally nothing wrong with being a real estate agent who wants to make $50,000 a year. There's nothing wrong with that. So you've got to just depend on what your success metric is. Okay, sorry. Sorry, I went on a little tangent there because I saw that. I was like, okay, I just got to talk about that for a second. Okay, so Mahmood says, yeah, okay, lots of good. Joy says, I can speak well to a C, but they always have a question I would never have thought of in a million years. Yes. Your C's are going to have tons of questions. Tons. So just be prepared that sometimes if you don't know the answer, the best response is a C. To be honest with you, the best thing you can say if you don't know the answer is, I don't have that answer with me, but let me look into that and I'll get right back to you. And then actually get back to them in a really reasonable amount of time. That's the best thing you can say to a C with that. Suma says all her clients are C's. Samara's son is a C, husband is an I. Samara, what are you? Are you a D? D? Yeah. I knew that. Patricia, husband is a tax professional. High C? Yeah. Bookkeeper. Yep. See? So you guys, you can kind of see that this is really, really, really relevant. So being able to speak to a James, high C. Is it true, James, that never BS a C? He's like, yes. I love it. Okay. Was this helpful? Does anybody have any insight or any additions you want to add to it? Any additional questions?
Send me the last slide.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Thanks. That's the D in me. I forgot.
I have a question. This is Linda.
Yeah.
I would go on camera, but I didn't grab my cap on my head.
No problem.
So you said one question, and what do you do for a living? Are there any other questions, or do you just have to just kind of talk to them and kind of see if they ask you for a lot of charts? I mean, to prepare for the appointment, it would be better if you can have, besides, what do you do for a living? Do you have any other questions that kind of pulls out what disc they might fall into?
Indicators are like how long you lived in your home, what's causing the move, wanting you to move. Because what's going to happen is if, like I said, if someone lives in their home for a really long period of time, it's very, very likely that they've got a lot of S tendencies. They may not be an S, but they definitely have S tendencies. So that's a good one to ask. I always like to also listen to how they ask questions. Because if they speak, like I said, if they speak very slowly or they're a little bit more conscientious in their approach, they're definitely more on the SC side. But someone who's like, blah, 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 blah. Like yesterday, you guys, I was interviewing a new bookkeeper and she's a high D. Oh man, if I am a high D, when I talk to other high Ds, I'm like, okay, all right, okay. I'm not gonna lie. She is a high D. She's like, okay, and this. Okay, so what can you do? I want you to bring this. I want you to blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, okay. And it was like a half-hour call was literally 15 minutes. High D. Okay. So even though she's a bookkeeper, she's like a salesperson, I think. So I don't really know how that actually worked. But so ask, how long have you lived in the home? What's causing the move? Listen to the way that they're speaking. If you're in person, watch their hand gestures. People who make a lot of talk with their hands, probably not your S's and your C's. Yeah. Yeah, for real. Like people who talk with their hands, like I talk with my hands. I'm always going like this. I'm always very, very expressive. Okay. I'm a DI, okay? So your C's probably aren't going to talk like that. So that's another way. Julie has a good one in here. I like to ask how they prefer communication. Really, really good one. Yep. Call, text, email are usually an S, right? C will be text or email. Your D's probably just want to text. They just want to text. Your S's and C's will probably love your video messages. If you have video text messages, they'll probably love them. Your I's will also really love them. If your video messages start out with, oh my gosh, I've been thinking about you. You're so amazing. Like, you have to say that to your clients, but you have to love on them. Amy's asking, have I narrowed my niche to refine it to busy professional women? Yes, that is definitely my niche. Busy professional women between the age of 35 to 55, mid to executive level in their career. That is my client avatar. I want to be an I, but for me, it's actually introvert. That's funny, Julie. You guys, the thing is also, I can talk about introverts versus extroverts all day, every day. Everyone thinks I'm an extrovert. Okay. I'm actually an introverted extrovert. Okay. I don't really like to be in crowds of people where I don't know people. If I don't know you, I probably won't talk to you. Not because I'm rude. I just like to look and observe. I'm an observer before I'm an approacher. So unless I am there to be the leader or to be the attention, I will probably not be the attention. So introverted extroverts. Okay, Joy has her hand raised. Thank you for her being patient.
Oh, I just had a silly story. If you want to see your type in action, go do an escape room with a group of people. I went to my first last night, and it was making me nuts because I was the highest D in the room. And then there was a very high I, mid D person in the room. The others were everything else. But that other woman would not let go of the clue so I could read it because I, of course, as a D, know that I am the better puzzle person. I was, knew that I was going to be the best puzzle person in the room, and I had to solve everything. She would not let go of the book. I thought we were going to come to blows. And then my other friend was standing back and just watching, It was really interesting. If you want to see your type and other types in action, I recommend it. Go with a variety of people.
I love that. That's a really good idea.
It'll blow your mind. It was funny. I was laughing so hard because I just walked in and I was like taking things apart and, I'm going to solve it. So
I'm the one in the escape rooms that I'm going to be like, I don't really want to know the clue for real. I mean, I kind of do, but I also am just going to pull everything apart until I find the answer.
Right.
Yeah. I don't have time. I don't have time to analyze it. Just get it apart. Yeah.
That was exactly it. People were trying to be, trying to think it out. And I was just tearing things off the wall and, yeah, it was funny.
Love it. That's a great story.
Recommend it. Go do it.
Thank you. Katya.
Hi, Lynea and everyone. I was just wondering, since you are so much into this and you know a lot of us, can you get our personalities when we are in the deep?
I mean, I can kind of. I can usually tell. I can't guess to a T, obviously. Like, I can't guess to a T, but I can usually tell what's the dominant trait. Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty easy. I can also tell by the questions that people ask.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I usually, because that's a dead giveaway. When people ask questions, I'm like, okay, this person is an S for sure. Okay. If I'm an S, this is how I'm going to behave. Amy handed up.
All right. So you knew I was kind of targeting that when I mentioned that earlier, right?
Yeah.
So like the disc profile on that could be all over the place, but a lot of D, and they're usually the ones that make the decisions anyway in households. And so I'm just trying to figure out the best way to target that, because I think I'm one of those, so I should be polarizing to one of those. But I was just curious what your thoughts were on that.
So if I'm going to target that person, the high D, mid to executive level, busy professional woman who's usually making the decision, which, in a heterosexual relationship, the woman is typically the one making the decision. So I like to say, look, I know you're busy, right? And I just like to speak directly to them. I know you're busy. I know you don't have a lot of time, but here's what I'm going to do for you. Here's what I'm going to promise you today. So in my content, you're busy, you're sitting in traffic, you're getting home, taking care of the kids, doing all the grocery shopping, doing all the cooking. You don't have time to think about actually selling your house, but you know you need a change. Just like that. And then because you know you need a change, right? And then all of a sudden you can go and you can kind of hit the I, right? Because your communication style, especially like your video marketing, it's going to start changing as you go, right? You're going to start out with that very high D, and then you're going to move into the I, because you're right, Amy. She's going to have a lot of different personalities, because, you just saw mine. I'm D, I, C, no S, 0 S. So I don't care about the stability. No, I don't need that. I don't need stability in my life. It's a joke. But that's what you want to think about. Is like kind of how you're going to take them down the cycle of communication. Does that help? Mm-hmm. Thanks. Cool. Okay. Anna Maria said one last slide. Oh, right. You guys, I have one last slide. I'm sorry. We're also over time. I hate when I do this, but it just happens. It's literally just how to kind of master it. You got to kind of make, understand. They're going to kind of move through the cycle. This is a really good image for like your S's, or probably a lot of people who work like nurses. A lot of them are S's. Your ER doctors are probably high D's, right? So you've had to kind of think about that. So you're going to kind of move people through the cycle.
That's nice.
Okay. Well, we are done. If there's no more questions, just so you know, if you want to know a little more about this and like actually talking to your audience, I do have a webinar that's coming up on the 31st. It is different. So if you have been to my Likes to Leads webinar before, this is completely different content. So you probably have not seen this content before. So please join me on the 31st at 8 a.m. There is a replay. If you registered, you will get the replay if you can't come. Also, if you do want to know more about how to use the disc in your content and start creating content that actually converts, book a call on my calendar, and I'll be happy to walk you through some of the ways that I can help you with that. Okie dokie.
Can you show the first slide again?
I can.
Thank you.
Yep. Show that for just a second. These slides will also be in the Facebook group later. So if you are not in the Facebook group, make sure you join that. Milo, can you put the Facebook group in the chat? Okay, you guys, that's what I got for you. I hope you all have a wonderful day. You know how to get a hold of me. I will see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.